Hi, everybody. Analisa Six here with the Lady of Leisure and the Sober Curator to bring you the October 2024 horoscope for the zodiac sign of Scorpio for sun and rising placements. It's already October 13th, and we are about a week away from entering your season, Scorpio. Happy birthday to all of the October Scorpios out there. Spooky season is upon us. Scorpio season is one of my favorites, even though it tends to be a pretty challenging time for a lot of us mentally and spiritually because it does symbolize death and kind of Scorpio symbolizes death and rebirth, let's be honest. But I think that, at least in the United States and, kind of the Northern Hemisphere, a lot of cultures are celebrating death holidays. And I guess in the Southern Hemisphere too. But, it's really centered on kind of commemorating those who have passed and kind of doing all these rituals around fall and kind of this transition into winter. So it's an intense period, but I think that the way that we celebrate it can dictate a lot of how we relate to this time of year. So I personally really love Scorpio season. I love all of the holidays that come with it, all of the spooky season stuff. And I'm excited to talk about October as a whole for you, Scorpio, sun or rising, or both placements. So every October, we start the month out in Libra season, and the area of the horoscope that this is happening in for Scorpio is the 12th house. So the sun has been in Libra, and Mercury is also in Libra. And so these are transiting through the 12th house of the horoscope. The 12th house is the house that Pisces traditionally rules, and it's the area that rules our subconscious secrets, things that are hidden, dreams. It's said to be where our soul emanates out of and returns to when we die. And whenever we're going through intense 12th house transits or themes in our life, we are typically working through a lot spiritually and in our subconscious. And so, in the sign of Libra, Libra has a lot to do with relationships, how we're receiving energy, but also how we're putting energy out there. It's all about balance and fairness, equality, justice, karmic balance. The universe is always seeking to balance itself. So polarities, opposites, reciprocation, in relationship dynamics, those are all things that can come up when we're also experiencing a Libra transit. And so things around relationship dynamics, communication and relationship dynamics might be coming up for you on a deep level and how they're impacting you on a subconscious level. The other thing that we have starting out October is Venus is in your sign of Scorpio for the first half of the month. And this has been happening in your first house. So in the horoscope, Scorpio falls in the first house. And whenever Venus is passing through the first house, it pulls us kind of back inward to ourselves. It's a, house that rules the self, it rules the will. It has a lot to do with how we find our own autonomy and our independence. And whenever Venus is in the first house, I always think it's an opportunity to really focus on falling back in love with yourself, self-love rituals, finding ways to really see your value and your self-worth. So that's been a big theme for October so far. Mars is in the cardinal water sign of Cancer. Now, Cancer energy makes a harmonious, easy aspect, what is known as a trine. Mars is also your ruling planet. So we have Mars passing through the 9th house in the horoscope, and this is going to be here for the whole month of October. And Mars is doing an interesting thing over the next few months where it's going to enter Leo next month, but then it's going to station retrograde and it will end up back in Cancer. So your 9th and 10th houses are going to be highlighted over the rest of the year quite a bit. The 9th house is the house that has to do with higher education, teaching and learning in higher education, long distance travel, publishing, the law, and also things like philosophy, metaphysical studies like astrology, psychology, things like that. And with Mars here, we might feel pulled into these areas of our life and kind of like there's this need to expand beyond where we've been. We might feel a lot of wanderlust or desire for freedom, expansion, growth. If there is any lawsuit or legal matters that you've been a part of, that could be highlighted. And Mars here can make some of that stuff a bit challenging. If you're thinking of publishing or releasing something out into the world, Mars is here kind of driving that energy forward, but it could also be challenging a bit too, because wherever Mars is, we experience some challenge. Jupiter is still in Gemini, but is going to be stationing retrograde on the 9th. And so that's going to be going on until February. The area that that's highlighting for Scorpio is the 8th house, which is the house that you traditionally rule, but here you have Gemini in the horoscope. And Jupiter retrograde here does bring up some reflection and review around your relationship to taxes, sex, death, rebirth, institutions around money and marriage, shared resources and assets. All of those things are a theme for you in terms of reflecting and reviewing on where you've been with those themes already during the year of 2024. If you want a bigger breakdown on what the outer planets are doing, I go over that in the astrology forecast for October. That's at the top of this playlist. So I'm not going to go too in depth about the outer planets, but we have Saturn still in Pisces, Uranus still in Taurus, Neptune still in Pisces, and Pluto still in Capricorn. Pluto will be stationing direct on the 12th and finishing up its stint in Capricorn, where eventually next month it'll be entering Aquarius and we will not see Pluto in Capricorn in our lifetime again. This has been in your house of communication, and so communication has been highlighted with Pluto here. All right, so let's move kind of backwards a bit. On October 2nd, we had a solar eclipse in Libra. This was happening for you in your 12th house. So if we think back to what I was saying before at the beginning of the video, the subconscious is going through a lot right now for you. Dreams could have been really intense and powerful at the beginning of October. Solar eclipses are an opportunity for a breakthrough into new territory. So again, this is a really intense time for your subconscious. There could be breakthroughs happening under the surface that you're not even aware of if you're not actually doing work on what's buried. If you're not familiar with the subconscious mind, that's something too that could be really beneficial for you to delve into as you're experiencing all these transits, because our subconscious mind is like a memory sponge that we aren't always aware is happening. We have this frontal lobe, practical, logical mind. But then we have the subconscious that's kind of behind that, that's absorbing information, emotions, experiences, and kind of doing its own thing with it. An example that resonates for me, it might not resonate for you, but when I think about going through something traumatic, the way our brain will kind of process trauma, sometimes it'll go into a survival instinct. And so maybe we start kind of going through something, and what's happening to us underneath that hasn't really caught up to us yet. And then months later, we'll have some kind of thing that hits us where we feel really emotional or triggered, and we weren't expecting that. And that's because it's been buried, in the subconscious mind. Our dream world is always communicating to us through the subconscious mind. And so a lot of times we have some dream, and, the famous teeth falling out dream that symbolizes moving out of a certain level of our youth, can come up when we're, going into new territory. A lot of animal symbology can come up in dreams when we're working through things in the subconscious. So those are things to kind of think about, because you're very much being hit in that way. So what's buried, and then bringing it up to the surface and making it known helps kind of work through and heal some of those things. So that solar eclipse was like an opportunity for some breakthroughs to happen. Then we have the Jupiter retrograde, the Pluto direct, and then after that, the next shift of energy we're going to have is Mercury entering your sign of Scorpio on the 14th. Now, this is a really positive time for you to really work through your perception of self and how you view yourself, having Mercury in the first house. Also, how you communicate, how you direct your will outward is a big theme for the rest of October in terms of working through things around that. After that, on the 17th, we're going to have a full moon at 24 degrees Aries. And now that's happening in the area of your chart that has to do with your health. The sixth house is where Aries sits in the Scorpio horoscope. And the sixth house rules our daily routine. So how we put order to things and how we structure our day. And then also how we take care of ourselves, our health. and then also how we're of service in the work that we're doing. And Aries rules the head. So people that have strong Mars or Aries placements tend to be more prone to headaches. So it's really common for Scorpio and Aries dominant people being ruled by Mars to be more prone to headaches. And so here, having, this full moon, whatever isn't serving you in your life stress wise, especially since we have this opposing Libra energy, whatever relationships aren't serving you that are contributing to negative health could be part of that. Whatever you need to shed in order to kind of get your health in a better place is highlighted for you during this full moon, especially because it's conjunct Chiron. So any kind of repressed energy that hasn't been sorted through within the subconscious is influencing your health. There's this kind of polarity thing happening. It's pretty interesting. After the full moon, Venus is going to enter Sagittarius, and we are going to see Venus passing through the area of your second house, which is the house of finances. Now, when Venus passes through the second house, this is a really positive opportunity to generate more income. It's really auspicious when it comes to developing a stronger sense of self-worth. We also could feel more reckless with our money when it's in Sagittarius in this placement, because maybe we just want to go out and do things that bring us a sense of adventure, fun, and freedom. Those are all big themes with Venus in Sagittarius for the Scorpio horoscope. And then after that, on the 22nd, the sun is going to move into Scorpio, and we will finally enter your season. And the sun will be highlighting the first house, which is all about you. And it's your time to shine and be selfish and, be as scorpionic as possible. So that's going to be that. I am pulling a tarot card from the Rockstar Tarot deck that just came out by Mary De Lorenzo Woods, that I am absolutely in love with, and I'm ending all of these horoscope videos with a card. So Scorpio, this is going to be your card for the month. We've got Page of Wands. It's Janis Joplin on Haight Street, which I absolutely love. Haight Street in San Francisco, if you're not familiar. The Page of Wands is a really amazing card when it comes to self-discovery and being open to playing around with who you are in your life again. This is really on point for a few of the transits that are happening in the horoscope. Mars in the ninth house being a major one. Like, it's okay to kind of rediscover yourself. Venus passing through your first house, Mercury passing through your first house, the sun passing through your first house, and then Venus in Sagittarius in the second house later towards the last half of the month. So that tarot card is all about, being playful and being open to new ways of self-discovery. All right, Scorpio, I'm going to leave you there. Happy birthday. And if you like this video, please hit the like, subscribe button. You can find me at ladyofleisure.com and thesobercurator.com. And I will see you guys all next month.